If you have tight, painful calves and or painful feet, as in plantar fasciitis type pain, then this video is for you. Because in today's video, I'm going to show you a couple of exercises to address those symptoms, but also how to get to the source of a very common muscular imbalance that's at the root of all that pain. But before we dive in, the disclaimer. Whether you have tight, painful calves or painful feet, we're going to start with the feet. And to get to the feet, I want you to either use a spiky massage ball like this one, or you can use a tennis ball that you might have lying around your own home. Now, you can do this in bare feet or sock feet, but essentially what you're going to do is you're going to sit, do this seated so you don't overdo your foot, and place the ball on the floor, and then you're going to roll your foot all over the ball. Now, I want you to roll your foot on the ball with only enough pressure to make it feel good. So make sure you're not creating pain here. But you want to roll all over the arch, behind the toes. Essentially, imagine that you're painting the bottom of your foot with the ball, and you want to be very thorough. Work on each foot for about 1 minute before you go to the next exercise. Next, we're going to stretch the calves. Now, once again, whether you have tight, painful calves or painful feet, it doesn't matter. We have to address both the foot and the calf because they are so much interrelated. Now, for this exercise, you're going to need some sort of a roll. I'm using a half roller here, but you can also use a tightly rolled yoga mat or a tightly rolled blanket. So don't run out and buy any equipment. You don't need to, but you're going to take that roll and you're going to place your foot of the leg that you want to stretch on the roll. So the ball of the foot is roughly on the top of the roll. The heel is on the floor. You're going to make that knee a little bit bent. So I don't want you to have a completely straight knee because you can actually hurt your knee doing this. So slightly bent knee, stand up really tall, and then use your standing, non-stretching leg to push your body forward over top of the roll. Now, what that does is it bends your ankle more and it makes your calf stretch a little bit. So you're going to push forward until you feel a stretch along the back of the calf. Hold it for 2 seconds, and then you're going to step back and let the stretch off of the calf for exactly 2 seconds. And we're going to repeat that stretch as an on-off stretch, 2 seconds on and 2 seconds off, 5 to 10 times. So if it's not very tight, 5 times. If it's a little tighter, 10 times. Remember, this should never be painful. You're just going into a low to moderate stretch, not a painful stretch. Now, once you finish that long calf stretch, what I want you to do is find the place where you are just outside the stretch. So you can see I'm moving a little closer to the roll here. And if I push any farther into it, I feel the stretch. So I'm going to back just outside that stretch. And I'm going to add a second variation here where I'm going to bend the knee of the stretching leg. Now that gets me more into the Achilles tendon, so that big, thick tendon that's down close to your foot. It's going to make that stretch a little bit more, and I might even feel that along the bottom of my foot here. So be careful, once again, not to elicit pain. You're going to bend that knee, hold that stretch for about 2 seconds, and then you're going to release that stretch by coming out of it, backing up a little bit if you need to, for exactly 2 seconds. And we're going to repeat this second stretch in an on-off manner, just like we did the first one, 5 to 10 times. So 5 times if it's kind of easy on you, 10 times if it's a little harder on you. Those 2 exercises will address the symptoms of your tight calves and or plantar fascia pain. Now, before I go on to my final exercise, I just want to let you know that in the description below, there is a link to sign up for my free live online workshop. I give those several times a year. So if you like this information, if you find it helpful and you want to learn more, then go ahead and click on that link and save your seat today. All right, let's get to that last exercise. Now, 9 times out of 10, when I see somebody who has super tight or painful calves and or painful feet, they have a muscle imbalance that involves one or both buttocks not working properly. Now, I don't mean that they're weak. 9 times out of 10, they're not weak. They've actually been turned off by the nervous system. They're what we call inhibited. They're not working at all. So you don't go running out to the gym and try to strengthen them, because you're just going to strengthen, guess what? Your painful calves and feet. it's not going to work out. So what we have to do is go through a reactivating exercise, and that's what I'm going to show you now. So all you're going to need is a mat or a rug to lie on, and you're going to come down to your back. And I would go ahead and choose the side that is the most painful or the tightest. So whichever side that is for you, you're going to straighten that leg. Now, we've got 3 phases to this little exercise. Phase 1 is just squeezing the buttocks muscle. So you're going to take a breath. As you exhale, I want you to really squeeze that muscle on the side that you're supposed to be working. Make sure you don't squeeze it so hard that your back hurts or something like that. So it might be a moderate level effort, but go ahead and squeeze that muscle until you kind of run out of air, and then you're going to slowly relax it and repeat. Now you might be thinking, well, Amanda, if I can squeeze it, it must not be turned off. But actually, you can always squeeze it even when it's turned off. The question is, does it actually work when you're walking, when you're standing, when you're climbing stairs? Chances are, if you have tight, painful calves and or feet, it does not. So we're going to repeat this 5 times. You're going to take your breath, you're going to exhale and squeeze that buttock muscle really tight, well, as tight as you can without making anything else light up. And then as you run out of air, you're going to release it. So 5 of those. Then we go to phase 2. In phase 2, you're going to add pressing down with the heel of the same leg. Okay, so you're going to press down with your heel while you squeeze your buttock. You're going to hold that until you run out of that breath, and then you're going to slowly relax it. So once again, you take a breath in, you exhale. As you exhale, you're squeezing the buttock and pressing straight down into the floor with the heel of the foot on that same leg. You hold it as long as your air lasts, and then you slowly ease off. Repeat phase 2 5 times before you move to phase 3. Now, here's phase 3. Phase 3, we're going to test it and see if the activation sequence worked. What you're going to do in phase 3 is take a breath. As you exhale, you're going to press down with the heel without actively squeezing the buttocks. Now, if you feel the buttocks squeeze by itself while you're pressing with the heel down, congratulations, you've got it. Repeat that 5 times before you move on to the other leg. If, when you press down with the heel, nothing happens up here, go back to phase 2, where you're squeezing the buttock and pressing with the heel. Do that 5 more times, and then come back to phase 3. And honestly, sometimes it takes 2 or 3 repetitions of phase 2 before you feel the buttock activate in that last phase. Now, once you finish on one side, go ahead and do the entire sequence on the other side. You want to make sure both sides are firing well before you start working on strengthening those glutes. So, very important that you work on the symptoms of your tight calves and feet, but also start working on resolving this very common muscle imbalance. It's not going to hurt you to really work on getting those glutes firing again and ultimately making them strong. Okay, I hope you found this really helpful. If you did, go ahead and click that like button, share it with friends and family members, and until I see you next time, keep moving and be well.